What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Hops Geek News. I am Matt.
And I am Lauren.
Weird, we're in person because we just got done with MegaCon and we did a Daredevil panel. And so tomorrow is actually Daredevil Born Again Season 2, in which we figured we're going to sit here and talk in person, maybe?
And recap Season 1 to get you ready, because I forgot a ton when I was rewatching.
Yeah, no, I rewatched this season. I did forget especially how it felt like three different story arcs as they had pitched it originally as well. And it is weird. I guess it's kind of weird. Like, you never see us in the same room together. So this is special for you, special for us. But make sure you like, subscribe, share, follow everywhere you find podcasts. Help us grow. Go to YouTube, social medias. We are there. And there's no comic. We typically talk, beer of the week. So I guess we'll start that, but then we go into what we're reading or watching, and then we go into what we news. None of that. We're just going to go into Born Again. So what is your beer?
So I'm drinking, thanks to my dad. He stopped at Tripping Animals and brought me back some Everhaze, which is a hazy IPA from Tripping Animals. And it goes with Daredevil because Daredevil takes place in New York, and that's where you can find alligators in the sewer.
I am drinking Brain Radio, first of all, because Sideward is the best brewery in Orlando, but also because your husband saved this one for me.
And because Daredevil has like brain radio because he can sense frequencies.
A lot of brain waves, if you will. It's a New Zealand style IPA, and I really love, the New Zealand style stuff, a lot of those hops. And yeah, I'm in the bar area too, which is kind of fun. So the bar area, this is where the magic happens.
But this is where we first met. I was sitting here.
It is true. So let's dive into this. This was episode 1. Season 2 is going to be out tomorrow, March 24th. If you're listening to this later, it's out now. We are going to be live on the Nerd Initiative channels Friday, the whatever date that is, this coming Friday. If you're listening to this on Monday,
28
at 8 p.m. Eastern, because we are going to be doing a watch party on the Nerd Initiative channels. But Heaven's Half Hour. So this was the highly anticipated. We're finally back. We're at Josie's. Everything is happy. Dope, right? Cherry's retiring. There's a new vigilante named White Tiger out there bringing justice. Foggy has left the big time, man. And Matt and Karen are all flirting. Hey.
They're having a moment.
I personally have always been a Matt and Karen fan, which we kind of talked about at our panel. But yeah, Foggy goes outside. He gets a call. So he's going outside, taking a call from Benny. Matt's eavesdropping as
Nobody gets any privacy around Matt.
No. Imagine having a friend that literally can hear every conversation you're kind of having. Benny kind of wants to know where Foggy was, and that's when Bullseye ends up shooting Foggy, and from there we get kind of one of like the really most intense fight sequences.
Beautiful
start. So what did you think when we started this season? What is that fight? Because we had seen it in the trailers, but we didn't know just what the surrounding aspect of this fight was, because it was kind of brutal. Like, Matt's being stabbed, they're both beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely beautiful though, because it was like continual. See, like, what do they call it? Like a one shot when they just keep filming?
Yeah, like their hallway scenes, how they always do it, like one shot. So they're moving through. Only this time it was a hallway, but they're both taking hits.
Right, and then Bullseye was so creepy because like he throws a smoke cannon to Josie's, and he's like, "Hello, Karen," and then that's when Daredevil enters.
And for a second there, I kind of forgot that, because Bullseye doesn't know that Matt Murdock is Daredevil at this point, right?
No, I think he does.
I can't remember. Because I think he does. You're probably right. I'd have to go back, but yeah, he does. And then the fight ends up coming up to the rooftop. Matt ends up getting the upper hand, and then Matt kind of throws him off the ledge. And that was very symbolic to the comic books, where Matt has done that before. And Bullseye doesn't die, but Foggy dies, and that's the intro.
I think Foggy's dead. Who knows? I still think he might come back.
Vanessa. You think he's going to come back? They've done that in comic books.
I don't know. Yeah,
I feel like that would be kind of cheap.
He went into witness protection. I do think he is going to stay dead, but you never know. I don't know.
Is anybody actually fully dead in comic books other than Uncle Ben and the Waynes? Maybe.
Thomas Wayne came back in Flashpoint.
Well,
and Martha Wayne is back in Absolute Batman.
I was going to say Absolute Batman. So, Thomas Wayne's the only one that keeps dying, but
really, it's just Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben stays dead, apparently. But yeah, 1 year later, we hear it on the news. Street art's been kind of popping up everywhere. And, Vanessa has really made things bulletproof. She
is like the godmother. She is handling everything. She's taken over since Fisk went to jail. She's got this, and she's doing it with such elegance and grace.
She really has, because Wilson disappeared. Last time we saw him at this point was Echo, I believe.
Right, after she kicked the crap out of him with all her ancestors.
And then she shot him.
Yeah.
That really is. She shot Fisk, and
she shot him in Hawkeye, and then he came back.
That's right. She
in
shot him in
Echo.
Hawkeye, and then she had that whole essence and everything kind of going on with Fisk at the end, and that was kind of the it. And so he disappeared, and Vanessa kind of took over the family business, if you will, which is interesting. We also are getting some really cool shots of the BB report because that's Ben Ulrich's niece. She's asking people's opinion. Yes.
Ulrich is Skeet Ulrich.
You're right. My bad. Ben Urich. Matt's lawyering, doing his thing. He's hung up the cowl and everything like that. He's testifying against Bullseye, which Bullseye gets life in prison. 11 murders that they can for sure.
It's life for like every murder.
Yeah.
Murders.
Karen and Matt meet at the courthouse for the first time because she has actually moved to.
She dipped after everything happened. She left.
Because, and it makes sense. Like things really shook them, and Matt really kind of wilted away, hung up Daredevil.
Everyone grieves in their own way.
Yeah, and Karen went to San Francisco, which San Francisco is a very large point in the comics too for Daredevil
she got
himself.
her film career started.
Her film career is there. Matt also was in San Francisco with Kirsten, who does appear in this.
She does.
Yeah.
I wonder if we will see more of her because he does date her in the comics.
He's in love with her in the comic books. And
who isn't he in love with him?
I mean, to be fair, Matt's kind of a I love you slut. So, but yeah,
I
San
do
Francisco.
think he thinks he means it though.
I think he does, but he's just a guy who feels strong emotions, and that's
Just
okay, I guess.
Telling all these girls he loves them.
Yeah, they end up talking. They have a bit of a disagreement. They talk for the first time. Matt's not Daredevil. Karen ends up walking away, but leaves the devil horn from his mask that was broken off that night. And back at home, Matt's making dinner. He hears Fisk on the news, and he wants to Fisk the city. Yeah, there's no lights on.
In the dark. Might as well save on electricity if you don't need it.
And he's making a run for mayor, and that's when Fisk can fix it. It's not Felix Fix. Was it Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph? It's Fisk can fix it.
I'm gonna wreck it.
And Daniel Blake, who is what's his name from The Sopranos?
Tony Soprano.
Tony Soprano's son, but yes, James Gandolfini's son is in this.
He does such a good job. Oh, every time I see him, though, I can't not see his dad.
Well, it's really hard with the way he plays his character too, because
he's like a mobster in training.
Yeah, but he's a little dumb. Like, I don't think he's doing anything nefarious to start.
No, I don't either. But I think he learns throughout the season that what Fisk is doing is nefarious. But I still don't think he's evil. I think we're going to see him go full dark side in season 2.
We are building up to Devil's Reign. In Devil's Reign, Fisk's son is Kingpin, but he doesn't want anything to do with the way that Fisk ran the business and has really gone far. He's just in it for like money. And yeah, he's certainly up to no good, and so I'm wondering if that's kind of what they're doing with Daniel is he's going to be that father-son role that kind of goes. And from there, maybe he steps into the Kingpin role at one point. And that kind of leads, if we are going Devil's Reign, of course, who knows? That could be what it is, but that's neither here nor there. Matt's dating, Heather Glenn, because he gets tricked into a potential blind date. She was told that Matt was looking for a therapist. Right away, she's rude.
She needed an attorney. She was rude right away. He should have ran.
Yes. And now they're smushing, right? As one does. Cherry's working for Matt. They have.
I remember Cherry knows who Matt is. He knows Daredevil because he saw him take his mask off and be like crying when Foggy died. Yes. And after he threw Bullseye off, and Cherry walks up and he's like, Matt?
And he covers for him. And they end up starting, he's kind of like their PI.
Yeah.
Because Matt and Kirsten end up starting their own law firm, and Cherry's kind of their PI there, all that kind of stuff. Cherry's working for Matt. He did some digging into Fisk. Matt and Fisk end up having coffee, which was a really intense scene. They're catching up, and Fisk is subtly mentioning Echo. Matt mentions how she shot him in the face.
Matt mentions Echo. He said something like, I had a sort of, like, oh, do you have any kids? No, do you have any? Oh, well, I heard that kid tried to shoot you in the face.
Yeah. And this is really good because at the end of season 3, they kind of came to a promise of, we know each other, but you stay on your side of the court. I'll stay on mine.
Right.
And Fisk,
you don't become a vigilante again, and I won't become a gangster again.
Yeah. And Fisk is like, hey, that wasn't me, dude. And Matt's like, all right. Wasn't me either. I didn't do anything.
It wasn't you.
They ends up believing that people can change. If he hasn't changed, Matt will be there waiting for Fisk.
He's like, I believe in redemption because I'm a man of God, but I don't believe people change. I don't know.
Vanessa, when I was a boy.
I changed clothes every day.
And at the end, Matt ends up on a dinner date with Heather, and
Blech.
Fisk ends up winning the election as mayor. And we get those really crazy, iconic scenes in the streets where everyone's either celebrating or they're upset. Matt is really going through it at this moment. You see him going through a lot of different emotions. And then Fisk tells Vanessa that he knows about her affair at this point because he was gone, man. Like, the girl got needs, okay? And then at the end, we do see somebody drawing on the wall, and then Matt and Heather do end up kissing. So that's kind of how episode 1 ends.
Yeah, and then when he's like all upset because Fisk died, she's like, "Oh, what's the big deal? Oh."
Yes. And
yeah. Okay. So now we're on to episode 2, Optics. Fisk gives his first mayor speech, talking shit about people in spider costumes and devil costumes. And we see a man with flowers waiting for a subway. And then he ends up intervening on a fight that's going on. The guy getting attacked, though, suddenly flees. And the 2 attackers continue to fight until one of them falls in front of an oncoming subway, which is so hard to watch.
Yeah, we've seen that. Seems like something that happens a lot more than I thought it did in New York. I've seen people like pass out and they fall off, or somebody pushes somebody onto the subway. I guess it was just something random. I thought only Matt Ben Affleck's Daredevil did that.
But unfortunately, the one survivor of the 2 attackers pulls out a badge, and he's NYPD. And apparently this was an undercover sting that this man with flowers that was trying to do good ruined. So Fisk's little PR person basically tells him that Vanessa is not being public with him is actually hurting his image, and she needs to come out, and he needs to show
she's
that
the first lady in New York, man.
Needs to show that him and her have a real good marriage. Matt is talking to a client, and he hears Hector Ayala, who was the guy with the flowers, getting beat up by cops. And they're telling him, like, you're going to confess to killing this cop. Matt decides he's going to step in, and he can tell he's lying about something, but he knows he's not lying about the fact.
He's not telling the truth. Like,
yeah, like he's telling the truth about what happened, but there's something he's hiding.
Right.
Yeah. So Matt's like, look, I'm going to take you on pro bono. The cops claim there was no other guy, and Hector attacked them without any provocation. So obviously we know that's BS, and Matt also knows that's BS.
Leave it up to the NYPD, baby.
That's why they're on the naughty list.
Yeah, they just are not doing.
Or maybe that was the Central Park Rangers.
They're not doing great things.
So Matt has Sherry get more info on Hector because he knows something's missing, and he tells him to find the guy that Hector saved. BB then meets up with Fisk, and he learns she's Ben Urich's niece, who he murdered. Heather is at a book signing, and Muse approaches her. Of course, we don't know it's Muse at the time, but we all kind of knew right away that
he was the awkward kid because he was in Wednesday Addams, that show. Wednesday, yeah, he played kind of a bad guy in Wednesday as well. So he was already up to no good the second you saw him.
Vibe.
Yeah,
but he tells her, "I need help." She gives him her email, and then we see the dirty cop is talking crap to Fisk, and then says he's resigning as police commissioner, and warns him. Oh, we see a dirty cop talking to Fisk, and then the police commissioner is like, "I'm resigning. I'm done with this," and warns him that he'll need more cops because so many of them are quitting because of Fisk. Fisk is like, "Nope," and then he threatened his child.
Yeah, which you can still see that Fisk said, "I'm not doing bad stuff for the mob, but I'm." Kind of low blow. Well, he threatened his child, and then didn't he? Because he showed the pictures,
right? And he's like, when he's eating like a cheesesteak.
Yeah, and he's like, remember, Commissioner,
just cheesesteaks and wherever the child.
Because he like put it under and like pulled away, and it was just Fisk being Fisk again.
And then he's like, throw this disgusting sandwich away. So Cherry finds out that Hector is in fact White Tiger and confronts him. Matt tries to get the White Tiger identity suppressed as evidence. Matt wins this one. He then goes to follow the guy Hector saved, and he hears a gun cock. Oof, that's when it's about to get good. He knows he's in danger, so he calls Cherry and goes to the guy's place. The dirty cops are there, and Matt tells the guy that Hector saved, he's like, get out of here. Go now. I have a guy waiting for you. You need to leave, because he can hear these dirty cops. This is
such a great scene too, man.
Matt then opens the doors for the cops, and of course they recognize him as the attorney. Main evil guy that was in the attack slams Matt against the wall, and we see a tattoo on his wrist, which of course Daredevil didn't see. And then they both start to beat the crap out of Matt, which was obviously a horrible move on their part. And they go to actually shoot him. They're there already to kill the one guy, and now they're like, we're just going to kill.
They're extra dirty cops.
Yeah. And of course the tattoo was the Punisher logo. And well, Daredevil is back. They're both not.
beats them down pretty It was gnarly. The whole thing was gnarly. It was awesome. And you're right, Daredevil's kind of back. It's like when you quit smoking and you smell it and you take I'm gonna take one hit, man, I guess, or whatever it is. I don't know. I don't smoke, but
he then just like screamed like a lion. Like,
well, he was because he's pissed. He's like he's trying to do the right thing,
right?
But he's
it's like, what is he gonna do? Let them shoot him?
Yeah, like he's getting pulled back in, or let this guy that Hector saved get killed by these dirty ass cops. Like,
and then the one guy broke his glasses, and then he like puts his broken glasses back on and just screams, and that's how episode.
It was because you got to remember too, these episodes they started filming these episodes. Most of these episodes were filmed, and then they had to basically redo them after everyone was very unsatisfied with how filming was going, the direction of things, and so they kind of redid things. And so a lot of this isn't the new directors or the directors who took over's story, but they did a good job like piecing things together.
There's definitely different feels with
right, because this was more of the courtroom drama that they wanted to focus on. They weren't originally going to bring back Foggy. They weren't going to bring back Karen. And so that's kind of why Foggy died and Karen went to San Francisco, of course. But in episode 3, Hollow of His Hand, there's a truck hijacking in a double homicide. Vanessa is insisting that the kids are getting restless because there's nobody at the head of the table. So Fisk says it's no longer their concern because he's really actually trying to be mayor. Not for nothing, Fisk does put his best foot forward for all of 2 seconds.
But at the same time, he's like taking over what his wife has built, and that's not cool.
Yeah. We do see a Punisher logo graffiti art that says triggered, and Officer Powell, who is one of the dirty cops, he got his butt whooped. The main dirty cop. Yeah, he ended up getting whooped in the last episode at the end there. He's taking the stand and says that Hector charged him, then intentionally threw the other cop in front of a train. Turns out that the kid they were roughing up was a confidential informant, and as Cherry makes sure that Nikki Torres, who was the kid, makes it to court, the dirty cop tries to stop him. It's a magic trick because they knew ahead of time that this was going to happen. So Cherry didn't end up having the kid, and the whole thing was like, "Hey, Jahad,
it's like a magic trick, yeah. Like look over here, and we're over here." And
he's not end up there. Ultimately, Matt puts Hector on the stand and then outs him as the White Tiger, which very much he fought to get his stuff as the White Tiger taken out, and then he basically, as a desperation, brings in witnesses to show how Hector repeatedly helped people, including the cops. So it turns out he's not guilty.
It's a testament to his character.
Right. It's the very first time, too, you see.
But it wasn't cool that he did it without his permission. Right. Because it put him in danger.
It did. And at this point,
And Matt should know better because that's the last thing Matt would have wanted.
Exactly. He outed him without talking to him, but he was so caught up in doing the right thing and caught up in everything that's going on, he ended up doing it. And this the episode ends with Hector, and he gets shot, and they kill Hector at the end of this episode.
Which was such a...
It was gas.
And then you just hear the little frogs from Puerto Rico.
Yes. So Hector puts on the mask and the suit to go back out, even though he wasn't really supposed to. And so Matt is kind of towing the line with vigilantism. Hector wasn't going to go back into it. And it turns out that they both kind of went back on that. And then Hector ends up shot, and we're not sure what happened. So, which takes us to episode 4, Sic Semper Systema, where at this point, Hector's teenage niece knows that it was dirty cops. She's mad. She's sad, like understandably so, like her uncle was killed. This is when we then see Muse carrying a body, which then shoot to Daniel, who is a young Tony Soprano, is going out drinking with BB and mentions a recycling thing to BB that Fisk is working on. And then out from there, she breaks the story about the whole thing. There's a leak in Fisk's camp, which is not going to go over well for Fisk at all, because this leads to one of the funniest things in the entire, because Fisk is sitting there and we get the repetitive, "We built this city." And it's just the kids singing, "We built this city."
And then they have to listen to it in a different language too. And then he's not having it.
We're going to sing another song. He's like, no, that's okay.
That's great. You guys are great.
You guys are awesome.
So much talent.
And meanwhile, Daniel off to the side is there like, "Hey, I messed up. Like, that was me. I'm sorry. I had too much tequila." And then, they go back and Fisk is raging at the office. And that's when Daniel actually stands up and says, "Hey, man, that's me. I'm sorry. It won't happen again. I promise you," and throws himself down there. And we all think old Fisk would have killed him.
Yeah.
Old Fisk would have done,
because I think he sees himself in this kid. I think there is something familiar.
I think this is the first time that he actually does see himself in this kid. You're right. To me, it's the first time.
It kind of reminded me like penguin.
Oh God, that is still like the saddest ending.
Oh my God, the worst, absolute worst.
Amazing. I still hate
but the
that ending
worst.
because it's so sad. But
Yeah.
you're right. He does kind of see himself in Daniel and says, "Hey, don't let that happen again." And he ends up promoting him, you know. And Matt's going back to where Hector was killed, and he's kind of like messing around. He ends up rolling like an empty shot. I call them nips, little shooters for people who don't know what that is. And that's when he ends up finding the bullet, and then it leads him to Frank, who's been hiding out because Matt finds the Punisher bullet on the Punisher logo on the bullet. Now Frank thinks that they're arguing, old married couple, as we all see as we get fancy things. Matt's basically they're arguing like back up against the wall. Frank's all grizzled, talking crap to each other, and then Frank says Foggy's name.
I love
hits
this,
hard.
Though. They really did act like a married couple in this. And I genuinely loved it because Frank was trying to help him. And he's like, look, you got to feel your feelings. You got to pull it out. And he's like, I know pain. Like, you lost your best friend. Yeah, that sucks.
Frank lost his wife and kid was
right. But
murdered.
Matt doesn't know that level of love because he doesn't have kids. The closest thing in his life that he loved was Foggy and Karen. And Foggy was probably the closest thing he had to anything.
That's true.
But like Frank's like, look, dude, I get it. And Frank's pain, I still think would be worse. Like the death of a child. There's
actually too was like one of the scenes that mostly was I think this was one of the directors, like one of the original scenes or the new scenes that they had started to shoot, they had pieced together and things like that. But it was, you can see where the new directors when they took over were going. And if you had gotten a full season of this, it would have been
just them two together is so great now too, because they both respect each other. And like as we get into the last episode, I love it even more.
Oh yeah.
But they're just like, calling him Red and calling him Matt and calling him, and it's like they have such a familiarity with each other.
Pull the trigger, Red. You can't protect a Red.
But I think they truly do love each other.
They do. There is like a general understanding and love. It's like your sibling who does dumb stuff.
Oh, my brother's an idiot.
You love them. They make poor decisions and they see the world very different than you, but you still at the end of the day, like.
But I know Brandon's not watching because he doesn't like comic book stuff.
That's fair. He's out.
My mom or aunt might listen and tell
many
him.
smoked meats out at the camp. And that's one of those things, right?
I love my dumbass.
You're saving sea turtles. Brandon
is definitely saving sea turtles.
Okay, well, I was kind of using that metaphor, but like you're out here saving animals. Brandon would eat them at the camp. Okay, let's just say that. Not sea turtles. No, the only time we talk sea turtles is when we're chucking them into the ocean after working on a pitch for 9 months.
That was
if you're Teeny Howard.
We will be dropping articles about MegaCon.
Yes, a lot of coverage.
Episodes, so that was a funny metaphor somebody used about creating a.
Frank and they.
It was Megan's.
It was. Yeah. Megan Fitzmartin. Yes. Anyways. Matt hits him and he's very torn. He's like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. It's not about him. Frank's like, oh, bullcrap, dude. Frank knows what he's going through. Matt ends up leaving.
Matt cries though first. And I really genuinely love that moment.
He shows him emotions.
He's been suppressing. And Frank knows it.
I don't think he's never truly allowed himself to feel Foggy's death.
No.
He has stuffed it away and pushed it so to the dark. And he ran away from it.
He's like, I'm just not going to be Daredevil, and that's how I'm going to grieve.
That's what he thought, because we saw at one point, like with the different helmets and stuff, like he put all of that away, but never put it away. And it's just like his feelings towards Foggy. Like that was his brother, his family. He has no family left. So Foggy was literally his brother. Mm-hmm. And then that leads to that. And, Matt returns home while he's out on the roof as Heather's asleep. We see Fisk walk by the white painting spattered with blood.
Which was from the Netflix series.
Yes. We see Matt surrounded by different colored DD masks. So he's got, the yellow from She-Hulk.
It looks like Matt's guest room.
Yeah, it actually does. I was like, wait, his guest? And then
me. That is confusing.
He's got his billy club and he does a little Ninja Turtle practicing. He's out there.
He looked a little like Raphael.
And Fisk is just casually eating a nice 5-star meal while Vanessa's ex-lover is just sitting in a prison cell. And Muse is meanwhile still dragging his body to the a body, yeah, and that's where that leaves off. So take us to St. Patty's Day, because this is kind of like one of those. If you're in a comic book, this next episode is one of those. Hey, this is a very serious 4 issues you just read. Let's give you something fun while also character building, and then we'll get to the rest.
Universe building.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's St. Patrick's Day, and Matt heads to the bank for a loan for work, where he meets Kamala Khan's dad, who works at the bank, and he shows Matt a Miss Marvel Funko Pop. And unfortunately, he doesn't know who she is. I hope that one day he does.
Yes.
So right after Matt leaves the bank, oh no, it's a bank robbery. He's on the phone with Kirsten, and he tells her to call 911, and he goes back to the bank, and he plays stupid. He's like, oh, I'm just a blind man, and I had to come back to the bank. Mr. Khan told the robbers that he can open the vault. He can't open the vault, which Matt kind of figures out. So then Matt tells him, just stall as long as you can. The negotiator, shows up, and she then tells...
She's amazing.
Yes, and we see her at the end.
We do. She's amazing.
So the negotiator tells the lead robber to send out 2 hostages in good faith. Matt was supposed to be one of them, but he decides to trade places with somebody else so that he can stay. The robber then learns that Matt is a, quote, solicitor, because that's what they call attorneys over in Ireland, and a blind orphan. And he's like, good God.
He was like, blind, yeah. He was like, you're a regular Charles Dickens. And it was the greatest thing ever.
Because he's like, oh, actually, I didn't know my parents. I grew up in orphanage. So ridiculous. Matt then asks if he can go to the bathroom.
Murdoch.
On his way to the bathroom, he takes down his bathroom escort,
okay,
who happened to have a red mask on.
I want to talk about this because there's always music in the scenes that happen. However, they build really good tension because the whole thing goes silent and it's quiet. And Matt's taking this guy down, and it culminates with like the shotgun teetering about to fall, and he doesn't want to make a sound. And he grabs it. So there's no sound at all during this fight scene, which that's what we were talking about in the panel, how music makes this a secondary script.
It's the one thing that comic books lack.
Yes. And on this, it really stands out because the whole scene is silent, where it's just Matt struggling to fight this guy and stay silent. And it's his return, officially kind of his return to Daredevil.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just happened to be that the guy, because they all had like different color masks on or whatever.
Yeah. And the guy had a red one.
Oh,
who knew?
What are the odds? Do you think Matt even knew it? So Mr. Khan, Matt actually opens the safe. So after he takes down this guy.
Was amazing, because he's listening and he's like, you can't open this safe. And then he clicks it open. He's like, what?
Right. And then he gets the guy who was with Mr. Khan. He takes him down. And he opens the safe. Mr. Khan asks him, exactly what kind of lawyer are you?
A really good one.
He replies, a really good one, which of course we heard in Spider-Man.
I love it.
So they find the diamond that the bad guys are looking for. Matt tells one of the bad guys the NYPD is no longer negotiating. He can hear them getting ready to barge in. So he's telling the truth. He's like, hey, they're about to bust in.
Hey, dude.
Yeah, you better get it together. We then see the main robber in police attire, and one of the hostages appears to be in on it. Matt then puts on the red mask that he happened to take from the first guy whose ass he kicked. And then I hate this part. So he puts on the red mask, and the blind stick suddenly becomes billy clubs, and pow goes the lead robber's face, and crack goes his leg.
Okay.
It's brutal. Lights out.
The way he jumps onto that man's leg
God.
Oh my God. He, like, there's that fight, they're going back and forth, and then Matt just like jumps and like, rah! On his leg.
Just right down on it. But he didn't kill him.
No, he didn't.
What percentage?
It's like Batman, right? Like, did he die
later though? Like, he could have had like an embolism
Did he get
in his leg.
sepsis from that? Did he get blood clots?
Right.
But that's not his problem. He didn't die. He was alive when he got to the hospital, maybe. Not my problem.
So Matt goes back to the bank to check on Mr. Khan after all of this, because we see the lady who thinks the one who is the hostage thinks she has the diamond, but really she has a piece of candy. Then, Daredevil goes back and he's just checking on Mr. Khan. And he's like, oh, I think I will have one of these candies from your candy dish that he had offered him at the beginning of the episode. Then Mr. Khan invites him to dinner with his daughter, Kamala.
Miss Marvel?
And he's like, I am going to do that one day. And then Mr. Khan notices the diamond in his candy dish.
That's fun. I didn't realize, because he's very open about his daughter being Miss Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has a Funko Pop.
Yeah.
I didn't think that her identity was as out like that.
She doesn't wear a mask, and she's a big superhero in her community.
Oh, yeah, you're right, which is interesting.
I haven't watched it since.
How does that go into the anti-vigil? Anyway, well, because the show came out and then we rolled into the Marvels. I have to rewatch because I thought I didn't. Anyways, moving on. Excessive force.
Their whole house got destroyed.
That looks like excessive force. We see Matt read the Braille on Foggy's memorial card. Luca and old friend, they show up at the mayor's office. Luca's one of the tracksuit mafia kind of looking guys. Heather's concerned, meanwhile, that Matt is not processing his recent bank robbery experience. She's very diving into like the
She
therapy
makes some
aspect.
good points though. Like, dude, you were held up in a robbery. I'm fine, Heather.
And then that's when she announces, like, hey, my next book, it's gonna be about vigilantes. And Matt's like, oh,
why they wear the mask.
And at that point, Luca's talking down to Fisk, basically talking crap to him.
And too big for his track shorts.
Heather then asks Matt, which I thought was a little bold, do you think you can get me an in with Frank Castle?
Give me an interview with Frank.
That was a little like,
he's
Heather.
Like, he's like, the Punisher?
What the hell? He laughs, and Fisk at the same time. There's a lot of parallels, which I love.
They go back and forth a lot in the
because
seasons.
Matt and Fisk are two sides of the same coin.
They really do it a lot.
It's really good
this season, yeah.
And she then asks about Daredevil, and at that point, saved by the Uber, which then Fisk then learns that the murals popping up everywhere are made by human blood because the trash people found out.
Because they couldn't get the blood off.
Yes, they couldn't get it off, and that's how they figure out it's blood. And Fisk is like,
he's using organic material that's very conscious of the environment. It's very green.
Muse is wrong, but like he's not a bad guy. If you're talking about the environment, you just kill some people.
It's pretty bad guy.
Anyways, Heather's niece shows up at Matt's office, or Hector's niece, excuse me, shows up at Matt's office, telling him their uncle's onto something there. Matt really doesn't want to listen because he's like, no, can't hear you. I'm blind and deaf all of a sudden. That's when some club girls spot Muse and like, oh, we love your artwork, huh? And they get killed.
Get a selfie. They ask for a selfie, and then Muse
I'm just gonna go up to like this creepy guy in a white mask and a beanie in this full outfit with like black going down his. I'm sorry, but couldn't be me. I'm white, but I'm like not that white, if you see what I'm saying. Anyways, back at the political fundraiser, we see Kate Bishop's not stepdad, the swordsman. He's telling Fisk that his obsession with vigilantes is not great, and they are all looking down on him and see his port project as kind of a self-serving type of thing. And as Fisk gets called away, Vanessa's just mad. She's like, not kosher, dude. Cherry then tells Matt that the 60 people have gone missing in New York.
It's a lot of freaking people.
Yeah. Muse, they think it's all Muse is all connected. Again, this is when everyone's kind of figuring out that, hey, Muse is coming to light. Cherry tells him to let the cops handle it. And then he knows it's what Hector's niece was talking about at this point. When we then meet Cole North, who's very different than comic book Cole North. So comic book Cole North is somebody who's
a good guy who cares.
He is. And he ends up shooting Daredevil in the comics, but it's not out of hatred. It's more of like, hey, I'm trying to do the right thing. And it's
but he's literally on Daredevil.
He thinks Daredevil killed somebody. He ends up shooting him. But in this, he's a very crooked cop, and you get that whole scene where like, oh, they thought my methods were so blah, blah, blah. But, and that's kind of how it is. That's how he gets on the whole task force, all that crap. Matt gets a call from the Ayala house. Angela, the niece, has disappeared. She went to investigate Muse on her own. He ends up calling 911 that ends up saying, screw this, I'm hanging up, whatever. Meanwhile, Muse is carrying Angela to the sewer lair of hanging bodies like his Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, and I never saw that scene because I closed my eyes.
This is when, like, oh my God, this is one of the best sequences in any Daredevil that I have watched live action. Because you got Muse, he's doing his thing, he's putting all the, like, they're very visceral about how he's putting the tubes in her veins. It's all, first of all, like, nothing sanitized. Like, girl, I hope you don't have long-term disease. Because how many other veins did those things go into? Gross.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah, disease. It's like, I hope she got herself checked. And second of all, he goes out, Muse goes out, and he's looking, and then you just see Daredevil like whap into the concrete, swing himself in, punch Muse. They're going back and forth. And it's just like so much anger in every hit. And there's a scene where Muse is laying on the table, and Matt just hits him in the head 3 times. I'm like, oh my God.
Like, going at it, man.
And another thing about this scene that I really like is Muse gets his hits in. And it's very different than comic book Muse, where comic book Muse is very on par. But there's points where like
Daredevil's powers.
Yeah, he gets the knife and he actually makes contact with Matt's helmet and it sparks. And it's like that's those details, man. It fucking rocks. It is so good. This fight is so good because Matt's trying to make sure he's listening to Angela's heartbeat. They're beating the hell out of each
He
other.
feels it fading.
And Muse is holding his own, and then eventually Matt was hanging Muse. Matt was gonna hang Muse and kill him.
He was going to kill him.
He was killing Muse on sight.
I think it was him or Angela.
Yeah, and then eventually he hears that Angela's heartbeat's basically done. He stops and goes to do CPR, and Muse gets away. And this episode kind of ends when Fisk is opening Vanessa's ex-lover's, whole thing, gives him an access. Hey, let's do this. And meanwhile, this is all simultaneous again, and Vanessa's ex-lover is, and Fisk is just beating his ass. And it's just like, oh, the mask is metaphorically off. They're back. We are back. I have been just ranting about this fight sequence. What did you think about it, though?
Oh, it was dark and good and amazing, and the bodies hanging everywhere were so creepy. But I didn't think they were gonna let Angela die, especially after
we know she's gonna have taken the mantle,
But yeah, we knew he was gonna end up saving her. I definitely didn't expect Muse to die because I thought he was gonna be lasting for the rest of the season.
We'll get to that because I think in this next episode, right? Because this was 8 episodes total.
9.
So we're about to get to the kind of crescendo of it all.
So we're on 7
take us
now.
to episode 7.
Art for art's sake. So Angela tells the cops she was rescued by Daredevil, and then she actually is able to lead them back to Muse's lair. So she was able to remember where to go. Fisk is not happy because they had a deal: no vigilantism and no gangsterism. Meanwhile, Fisk was already broken.
But Fisk, yeah, okay, time out. My boy Wilson's over here like pot me kettle.
Oh, 100%.
Dude.
All the bad guys are like that.
I know. They rationalize it. He's not a bad guy in his head.
I'm not a bad guy. All right. So as Matt showers, you see blood pouring down the shower drain, and Heather steps into the shower, acting all, ooh, and then she's concerned. But it still ends up turning to sex, and then concern again.
Oh my God, you're all scratched up. Yeah.
This is a time to be
What happened? You're bloody. Yeah. Heather, you probably also need a therapist, but whatever.
She definitely does. He tells her that he fell. She's not buying it, but of course he has, I can't see, lady, I fall all the time. She tells him he has to stop pushing his trauma down. They end up saying I love you, which felt like such fake I love you.
Oh, it was fake.
Also, they started dating.
It felt, in Jingle All the Way, when he's like, Liz, you're like a wounded foal. That's what that makes me think of when Heather's like, Matt, stop pushing your emotions down. It's like, all right, okay, you just want to save somebody, Miss Therapist.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, Matt would be a great subject for a therapy book, but...
Oh, yeah, no, Matt's messed up, for sure.
So Cherry refuses to help Matt track down Muse. He's like, come on, dude, you said you weren't going to do Daredevil anymore. Who then shows up at Heather's office as a patient. So Muse is at Heather's office as a patient. The cops believe Muse is Bastion, so they figure out his identity. They narrow it all down via his art supplies and everything. He was committed when he was 15, and there's a whole lot of more crap there. He's also really good at Taekwondo, but hated it. His parents made him go. His Taekwondo teacher showed up dead after about 3 months of training with him.
I hate this whole
Muse, it's like Hitler. Muse just wanted to be an artist.
Because in the comic books, Muse doesn't have a face. He's not there. He doesn't have any. There's nothing, no backstory. Muse just is. He shows up. He talks a bunch of crap.
But we don't know how true this backstory is.
And Charles Holt, Muse doesn't, because they unmask him in the final.
I just bought that comic at MegaCon.
Okay, I can't.
So calm yourself.
All right.
Okay, so he just wanted to be an artist, which he is now, and he says Heather is his muse. Bastion gets a nosebleed all of a sudden, and he uses it to draw.
Here's some Stranger Things.
He sees that she has figured him out, or maybe supernatural. Maybe he's drinking demon blood.
Maybe.
She then begins crying because it's very obvious she knows what's going on. So he knocks her out. Meanwhile, Matt is at Muse's lair and starts feeling the paintings and the texture on the paintings. He realizes there are many that are the same, and suddenly he realizes it's Heather.
Because remember when Matt felt her face, pretending to be blind.
Apparently, Muse is that good of an artist that Matt could feel Heather's face and then feel the paintings. I call BS on that, especially in the comics. I'm like, oh, Matt felt the stuff on the paper. How?
I don't think that.
It's not all raised print. Whatever.
I don't know. I'm not fully blind. I cannot make a definitive statement.
All right. So the a-hole cop shows up there, and Daredevil accidentally knocks him out, and he's like, oh, crap. Fisk finds out that Daredevil is on this mission. So the cops have also figured out that it's Heather. The cops go to her place, And then Daredevil basically panics as Heather is essentially bleeding out.
All right. You're oversimplifying this one.
All right,
I'm
Muse
sorry.
panics.
I got to go into this. Muse is like, no, it's too soon because he's got his full costume on. He's got the canvas laid out. He's about to do some crazy stuff because he cuts Heather down he like goes down the street, which is like death.
And then she's mocking him. Everybody who wears a mask is
and then that's when Daredevil smashes through the window, man. And we get more of that fight. But this one was even more visceral because Musin picks up the knife and he's about to stab Heather. And that's when Matt, with his billy club, he shoots it through his shoulder. And then he yanks him back. And I'm just like, whoa, there's so much rage there, man. Like, oh. And it ends with Heather shooting Muse, which I thought was just, oh.
And then she passes out.
I hated that creative choice because Muse has so much more story to tell in the comics. He should have been the villain for the whole season. They could have really built into like this noir, thriller, horror. I hope it's not the last I've seen. Anyways, I'm sorry. But they got into a tussle, if you will.
Yes. So Daredevil does manage to stabilize her before he dips out. So Matt,
Daredevil didn't save her.
Even know
the task force saved her.
Exactly. So they spin it so that the task force is the one that, because they bust in, and so they have.
But video don't lie.
Young Gandolfini convince BB to make it seem like the task force is the one that saved Heather and that Daredevil was never there.
But people saw Daredevil.
Everyone
saw Daredevil go through the window, man. People got a phone.
Because Daniel's like, look, you owe me one because she had gotten him in trouble before. And so she needs to write that the anti-vigilante task force took out Muse and Daredevil wasn't there, like we said, and he subtly, but not subtly, does threaten her.
He does.
Then at the hospital, Heather wakes up with Matt at her side. She tells him she thinks Daredevil said her name. On TV, Fisk smiles for the cameras as his task force takes the win, and Vanessa sets up Luca. He thinks she's helping him kill Fisk.
Oh, this is great.
But as he shows up to kill Fisk, Buck then shoots him before he gets a chance. And we learn immediately that Vanessa helped set this up because Fisk is eating and then says, tell Vanessa I'll bring her home dinner or something like that.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Just no reaction. Thank you, Buck. All right, as one does. These final two episodes are amazing because at this point we're getting some backstory back into Bullseye. Things circle back around. These last couple episodes were the creators who took over. This is their story that they wanted to tell. So Bullseye wants to talk to Matt. Heather's comparing Daredevil to Muse, saying they're kind of one of the same. And if he's, she's all for Fisk because if he's for all vigilantes are being dangerous, like that's how she sees it. Excuse me. Jeez, I'm out here dying. He learns that because Buck shows up to the door and gives Vanessa an invitation, which was very intentional by Fisk, that she has Fisk as a client, and Matt freaks out, deservedly so. She doesn't really understand.
Yeah, deservedly so. She isn't.
Yes.
I don't like her. I hate her so much.
She gets the invite to the ball.
Everyone he's dated until now.
Oh, Heather is awful.
Awful.
Electra, she sucks.
Claire. Well, I only kiss Claire.
Vanessa. Then they go to Vanessa ultimately shooting Adam, kills him, which is her being like,
that's all therapy they needed. Heather helped them through so much.
Guess what? Yeah, because Heather, if you remember, was
talk about closure.
Does he hurt you? And she's like, oh, he would never. And then she kills. Would you kill for Josh? Was that how things would end for you? Like, Josh,
that is
I killed this man for you.
I do love when she's like, I'd like to talk to you alone, and she asks him that, and Vanessa kind of laughs because it's like Fisk would never lay a hand on him.
Which is crazy, right? Because of all the bad things he does,
but he loves her. He
actually is kind of a decent partner.
But so the whole premise of Sopranos and how it ended with the therapist, and they said there was a study that they actually linked into the show where they said the mobsters had no problem killing these people and everything, but they always had a fondness for babies and animals.
Yeah.
And not that a woman is that, but it's they have these certain soft spots that they're oh, how could you hurt the babies? How could you hurt the animal?
Yeah.
So it's
kill that man, but don't you dare touch that
So
dog.
It's what would it take for him to hurt Vanessa?
I don't think he ever would. I think he would probably kill himself over ever hurting Vanessa.
But it's
I really do.
But I think that's what makes so many of the villains so complicated and beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Like Homelander, stop with the Nazi shit. It's the same kind of thing. It's these are evil.
But they have their
their, I guess, redeeming quality.
Does Homelander redeem quality?
Yeah, he's not a Nazi. And Stormfront is.
Listen, Homelander just likes some boob milk. All right. Listen, he
Yeah.
heard it's great for the muscles.
Who doesn't?
I once made gingerbread cookies with them. So, anyways,
Merry
BB's
Christmas.
falling in line. Daniel does get promoted. Matt's standing outside of Josie's until she yells for him to come inside. And Matt ends up putting together, because there's a specific alcohol that they only drink when Foggy won a case, or they won a case.
So the synapses are connected.
And Josie was like, he never finished. And then he's like, are you sure? And she goes, I would never forget. Like this. And then he puts together that he was celebrating. They won the case.
About alcohol.
And he was celebrating early because they were going to win the case. And that's when Matt decides to go visit Bullseye. And he's like, why does Fisk want you dead? He moved you to Gen Pop. Why does he want you dead? And it ends with Matt slamming his head on the table. And officer, I'm in here. He just starts hitting his head on the table. And that's
he's
when,
like, oh, you psycho.
Yeah. And Bullseye's like, thank you, counselor.
Yeah.
And it was really cool and everything like that. And that ends with his tooth being knocked loose.
Right. Bullseye's getting like stitched up, and you feel him like feeling.
Do you think Matt did that on purpose to get him loose?
No, I think no.
He was just in a rage.
I think he let his emotions.
Because he was like, I want you to guarantee me XYZ, and then I'll tell you the story.
I don't think he wanted him out of jail.
Because people speculate, but then like you got to know, man, if you bang your, I don't know.
Matt's unhinged right now.
He is. He wasn't because I'm with you. I don't think he did it on purpose to be like, oh shit, he's out.
Yeah.
Because now we get to Fisk's ball, and you see the swordsman again is being pulled in and basically threatened.
Because Bullseye had escaped. He's dressed as a cop on the bus.
Yes, it's very, think of any Prison Break movie, and that's kind of how it was. He's hey, rough day, because he's all beat up, and he's like, but Matt now or Heather's by herself at the ball. She's interacting with Vanessa, all that kind of stuff. Matt's not answering his phone.
Thank you, Heather, so much. You really helped our relationship because I murdered the guy.
We don't need to go anymore.
Yep, we don't need to go to therapy anymore.
And then Heather takes that as, I'm a great therapist.
I hate her. Yep, so they feel they're good now. And then Matt shows up late. He tells her about Poindexter. She does now approve. What?
She doesn't approve. She's like, what are you doing?
She's not.
Why are you doing this? He's like, I promise. I'm sorry. Blah, 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 blah. And then as she's talking and Matt's like, I promise I'm here. He's listening to the swordsman's conversation behind closed doors where Fisk is threatening him because he knows he's the swordsman. And he's talking about the anti-vigilante stuff. And Vanessa or Heather, even at that point, goes, you're not even listening. He's like, no,
he's not.
I am.
But he's
listening, just not to her.
Right.
Listen, can relate. I've had those moments, but also
Jack
like I'm not listening to Heather either.
So Jack, who is not Kate Bishop's stepdad, is anybody who's not who that's not making sense to. He was the guy in Hawkeye that was dating Kate Bishop's mom, and they were like engaged, and then Kate Bishop's mom went to jail because she was working with Fisk. So, that's what I did not remember. His name was Jack. So clearly at this point in watching the show, I've realized his name was Jack. He's so good in Better Call Saul.
I love him even in this, like the limited time that we get. Yeah.
He's such a good actor because he's so goofy in this role, and he's so evil in Better Call Saul. I didn't even know it was the same freaking person. As
Fisk walks out, he notices somebody taking a picture, and it turns out the guy's a journalist. And that's when Powell is roughing the guy up, and the commissioner comes in, and he's like, yo, you can't do that. Then Powell's like, I don't work for you, commissioner. And he puts his hand in the air fryer, and they're like, what the is happening?
Not an air fryer, straight up boiling
hot. Sorry, I was thinking air fryer, but it's a fryer.
Because we just had the air fryer on.
Powell's doing all that.
Also with Jack, not her stepdad, he's like, that was an isolated incident. He's referring to Hawkeye.
Yes. And it kind of does all come together. And then BB ends up talking to the commissioner, and she's like, not everything I write's under my name, because he goes, how could you put it? He knew he killed your uncle.
Why did you write that Daredevil
she's like,
wasn't
I know.
There?
And
he's like, Fisk was the lead suspect for your uncle's death.
And she goes, I know. And
she's smart. Very, very,
not
very
everything
smart
that she writes is under her name, which is wicked smart as well. And that's when they both have this understanding. They'd love to talk about it more. But they kind of go back, and that's when the dance kicks off, because Matt's trying to talk to Heather, like, hey, I just that. And they start dancing, and that's when
flings the billy club onto the server's tray.
Well,
I
you get
love that
Fisk.
scene. He's like, you're gonna have to lead.
Yeah, because then Fisk is like, talking crap to him, whispering because he knows Matt can hear him. He's like, "Did you think there wouldn't be consequences, devil?" And then Matt's like, "I'm gonna cut in," and he's dancing with Vanessa, and he's like,
around.
"Hey, dude, I know it was you."
Yeah, he figured out it was Vanessa that put the hit on Foggy.
And that's before we get the ultimate reveal to Fisk. Bullseye is there. Matt hears the gun, and then he leaps in front of Fisk, saving Fisk, getting shot in the arm, and that ends the episode with Matt laying on the floor, and it turns to red and everything, and it's a very beautifully shot scene. But I'm like, God dang it, Matt, and your stupid Catholic guilt. What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
God dang it. God killed so many people in the Bible, Matt.
And
that's the
Punishers,
finale.
that's pointed out straight to hell, episode 9. This is the finale. So we get a flashback. It's 1 year ago, and Vanessa is visiting Poindexter in a mental facility. He's all drugged up. She's getting him released. She hasn't seen Fisk in a while, and she needs a favor for him to kill a thief, Benny and his lawyer, Foggy. The case would shine unwanted light on some of her business practices, so she needs him to take care of it. She pulls his meds away, and ta-da, he's free.
Ha!
Back to the
present. That's how it works, by the way.
Matt wakes up in the hospital and he asks for Karen. Of course, Heather's all bent out of shape about that.
Oh my God.
Unconscious and was just
shot. Dude just got shot. He comes out of unconsciousness and he's like, Karen. And like, okay, I get that. You're saying another woman's, but also if you know anything about Matt, the man that you've been with for like a year, you kind of also know that Karen, him and Foggy were very close. Right. So the man's drugged
and you're
up.
like, stop suppressing all your feelings, but don't have those kind of feelings.
You can't have feelings.
I feel
Matt.
like her issue is she thought like, okay, I'm dating a blind man. I think she expected him to be more vulnerable than he is.
Or and like need her.
Yes.
Matt, she's like,
and I feel like she's upset that he's independent.
Yes. Yes. You're like a wounded foal.
Yeah, I think that's what she thought. Like, oh, this guy's blind. Like,
she just wants somebody that needs her because she needs to feel important.
Blah. Okay. So Poindexter's still at large. Matt's law partner is also there with Heather. And he tells her that Vanessa put the hit on Foggy. They both think he's nuts. He's like trying to tell them, like, look, I figured this out. And it's so interesting because he was used to like Karen and Foggy believing everything he said.
Yes. And now
he's got
and Cherry are like fighting him on everything. It's like.
So Fisk tells Vanessa he knows. He then tells her she moved millions through the ports. Now they can move billions. And then Heather acts all self-righteous and dips and leaves Matt at the hospital as Matt tries to piece it all together. Fisk asks about Matt's condition, and he suggests that Matt should succumb to his wounds. A dead hero is better than an alive vigilante. Fisk then tells his campaign person to send anyone not completely on board home. Get them the hell out of here. Buck then heads to the hospital. Buck is, of course, Fisk's little like go-to man. It's like his new Wesley,
yeah,
but he's not as good as Wesley.
Wesley was the GOAT. Okay, Wesley was the GOAT. Buck is a wannabe. He thinks he's so tough, and I'm curious because in the comics he has some powers. Buck's a punk, dude, and he shows up. Matt hears his ass coming, and Matt's like...
Well, Buck waits for the blackout. So the blackout happens, and then Matt dips in his little hospital gown with his ass cheeks.
His little booty cheeks hanging out.
You can't gown that ass. So he heads home to find Frank at his house, and I fucking love it.
I love the scene. Matt comes in, he just sits on the couch. He's like, oh.
And he knows Frank's there.
And then he's like, you're the last person I thought I'd ever see. And Frank's just making coffee in Matt's house.
And they literally argue about coffee and hospital gowns.
Because Frank has made himself at home and he knows where the coffee maker is. He is in the dark. And Matt's just like, hey, boo, I missed you. What's up, baby?
And Frank's with your like, ass hanging out.
And they're just like, yeah, you're gonna go fight with your ass hanging out. And he's like, and he just sticks out his middle finger. He's like,
yeah, he just flicks him over. So much.
Their relationship.
It's almost like brothers.
Bernthal and Cox are so dang good, dude.
They are so good. Ugh. So Frank is going to get Matt out alive, and they both already know there are people outside. I love it because Frank's like, there's people outside. He's like, yeah, I know. And Frank asks, he's like, why'd you take a bullet for that asshole? And Matt's like, I don't know.
Yeah, which honestly is like the first time he's like, I don't actually know. Because
he just reacted on instinct.
You mess something up and you're like, why did I do that? Like every day of my life. Yeah, Matt's just like, dude, I don't know. And that's when Frank's like, he's gonna go get ready real quick as people are coming in. And Frank's like, you're gonna fight with your ass hanging out. And then Matt obviously gets in his little getup, he's back in this suit, but he's fighting with one arm.
Yeah. So as the task force breaks in, Daredevil fights and Punisher kills. Cole North is the only one left. Frank sees them using his logo on the bullets. Matt says Hector was a good man and then knocks Cole North out.
This was another just absolute insane action sequence because Frank is so, again, visceral and brutal, and he's just yelling. And there's scenes where Frank dives over, and then he's like struggling, and then he ends up shooting. He hits the guy under the counter, and then he ends up like point blank in the head like 3 times, and they up close show like the blood coming out. And then that when he's got the guy on the floor and he's fighting, he takes a knife and he just like cuts across his throat, and the blood's like, and you're like, oh my God, this is the same universe to where Peter Parker and Captain America are in, like,
and Groot's dancing.
Wait, we got Baby Groot. Wait a second. This is all the same universe. Like, this is crazy,
stuff in
right?
all the comics, they just make it seem lighter, or in all the movies.
You're thinking,
it's like, how many people has Iron Man doesn't have enough kills?
No,
he's killed. He has a huge
the Marvel universe, they've killed a lot, but this is the same universe. But we don't view
Iron Man as dark as we do this.
No, you really don't, because you're not watching Iron Man slash people's throats, to be fair.
He just
bulk kills them. It's like,
and then they're dead.
Yeah, and there's no blood.
It's like a lightsaber.
And there's also no blood in those movies.
Right, it's like
right?
Like, yeah, they don't make it
you get the Chitauri blood, but that's not really blood. Or you get things like that. And it's not
I think when you're killing anything not human, it doesn't come across
and
as
so it's
evil.
but this is the same universe that holy crap, we had Thor too.
Universe is WandaVision.
Okay, and so you're seeing this while Matt's bouncing his billy club around the apartment, and Matt's like, God damn it, you're a goddamn liability, Frank. And they're arguing some more, and Cole North was gonna shoot, and Frank's shooting through the wall. Matt hits him, and then Frank throws a knife and gets his hand stuck there. They're yelling because that's when Matt's like, you're a damn liability, Frank. And then they hear a grenade. Matt. They both
instinctually jump out of the window, and I love this scene because Matt grabs Frank because he has the billy club. So he's he's like bickering,
Tarzan and
yelling
Jane.
at each other. Yes, and then he's like, "I got you, boo."
Hey, baby, I'm not gonna kill you. I'm just really mad right now. So you're in the doghouse. You're sleeping on the couch tonight, but hey, let's go.
Yep.
Cole North is in season 2 from the stills.
They didn't kill him. They left him unconscious.
But Matt's apartment blew up.
So maybe he'll show up like Two-Face.
But Matt's apartment blew up.
He's not Uncle Ben.
Matt's apartment blew up.
So maybe he got behind something.
He was knocked out, and all of a sudden he's like, grenade. I don't know, man.
Maybe it's a flashback. Who knows? But Karen's in there. They swing to safety.
Yeah, Karen pulls up her car. She's like,
and Karen shows up.
But Matt says, shotgun.
I love that.
And then he's like, I hate you or whatever.
Yes.
He's like, yeah. He's like, you're an asshole, Frank. And Frank's like, yeah, I know.
And that's Matt called shotgun. And now she's like their mom.
Yeah.
Now they're 2 little boys.
They're back at Frank's hideout at this point.
And they both have had feelings for Karen, and Karen has had feelings for both of them.
I heard your heartbeat in Frank's house.
Yeah,
he brings that up.
Going on. Maybe that's the answer here. The 3 of them just need to get together.
Listen, they're a throuple. All right, it is what it is.
I'm here for it.
Whatever. I'm cool with this. Maybe it'll keep her from doing meth and selling off Matt's identity one day. I don't know.
Sell those throuple videos. So Karen heard Poindexter escape, so that she actually called Frank, and she immediately hopped on a plane. And that's why Frank was like, I got to get you out of here, Matt. Yeah. So Matt tells Karen about the motion to dismiss. What?
How many hours from San Francisco? Okay, all right.
She flew. Well, she called. That's why she flew Frank first.
Okay. How many hours in between all this was it? Because it was already nighttime when Matt got shot, because the balls take place at night. So Poindexter shot him. A flight from San Francisco, which
to New York,
you're
6 hours, 7 hours,
and it's still nighttime. So did they just?
Maybe it was another day. Matt was unconscious.
That's what I was wondering. Do you think like we had a time skip all the way through to another night? That had to have been the only thing. Okay.
Because he was also shot. I think that's the most unbelievable.
I'm thinking about her flying cross country in a show where there's a blind guy, and yeah, okay.
All right. Yeah. So Matt tells Karen about the motion to dismiss that Foggy had filed in this case. She, of course, believes him because she's not Heather, and says she knows where the files are and she'll be his eyes, because having him be able to read pieces of paper with no indentations with letters on them makes no sense. So they find it, and he learns the port is a free port, which means they can launder money basically legally. No one owns it because it's a free port, so
love
there's no
it.
taxes, customs, and there's no jurisdiction. So Frank hears all the looting and the cop shooting, and he can't stay put. He goes out and he kills a bunch of cops, but eventually gets overrun and tied up because they're like, we're going to go figure this out. And Frank's like, yeah, you go do that. And you can see that he wants to go with them, but he's like,
yeah, you guys go ahead. I'm not invited. I don't care.
Yeah. So
Please.
he ends up getting tied up by all these cops that overrun him.
And they're on the
turns
Punisher.
out this is a misery situation. They're admirers of him, and they're trying to
I'm your
recruit
biggest
him.
fan.
He calls them clowns because that's what they are.
Yeah.
So Fisk's PR lady records the police commissioner trying to do the right thing because he like confronts her. He's like, look, I know you're a good person too. He had just talked to BB. He's like, hey, some of us good people need to like do the right thing and stand up. She gives it to Fisk because honestly, I don't think she's a bad person. I think she's just freaking terrified.
She's terrified. She doesn't want to, so she sides with the commissioner, but she's not fully sold that she won't get killed herself. So she wants to show Fisk her loyalty to protect herself.
Yeah.
I understand it.
And when they pick the commissioner up, he knows he's dead. He knows he's done for.
This scene is
But he does
crazy.
not expect to die in the way that he does die.
Fisk then watermelon, hands, squish.
And like rips it apart at the same time.
And they don't pull away from him on this
No,
scene.
we
They
watched the
show this
whole-
scene happen.
It was like a cartoon
It was intense.
death.
Every step
It
of
was
it.
like Invincible come to life death kind of thing.
It was wild. Just wild.
Yeah. Okay. So that was brutal. And he does it in front of some of the task force. And I think they're all like,
What?
I think some of them are.
He does it in front of everybody.
I think the deranged ones are like, yeah. And I think it's like the people who cheered on Homelander when he killed that Starlighter.
like the cult.
Yeah. And then I think some of them are like, what the hell did I just get into? There's no turning back now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's kind of when Matt and Karen are overlooking everything, and
They're
like
spying on the port. They're like hidden, and they're spying on what's going on in
he's
this
like,
free
hey,
port.
we need an army. We got to go get an army, and they're going to take the city back
Because
And
they built this city.
Heather ends up meeting with Fisk, and she's now the commissioner of mental health.
Oh, all the lights are back on.
RFK, yeah, her and RFK are doing cocaine on toilet
RFK's not
seats
in
and
this.
doing workouts in jeans. She's honored. He goes public and states that vigilante activity is now illegal. 8 p.m. curfew. NYC is under martial law. He loves New York.
And he appoints her as commissioner of mental health.
Yeah.
She's honored. What an honor.
I hate Heather. We see Fisk and Vanessa having people in cages, including Jack and Frank. Poindexter's still out on the loose. Matt tells Karen that he hasn't been himself since Foggy died. Karen comforts him. They're at Josie's. They're gathering an army now. That's when, Cherry, the cop from the bank robbery shows up. A few others are there. We don't get Jessica Jones
I think
yet.
what's going to happen, this is my
They're going to
theory.
redo that scene.
We haven't seen this at all. I think they're going to redo that scene and continue panning over, and we're going to see
Or
Luke,
is they're going to
Jessica,
open the door and they
Trish,
walk in.
Iron Fist,
All right,
Colleen,
calm down. I
Misty.
think we're in a Miss Marvel.
Sure,
Why not? Throw Miss Marvel. Kate Bishop, because we forgot about her too.
sure.
Everybody. Hawkeye's there with his deaf self.
No, Hawkeye's not there. I don't want
He's
him
not.
there.
Hawkeye's on
Wolverine. If we're just doing that, I'm going to throw Wolverine.
No,
in.
I do think that maybe like Jessica walks through the door and is like,
I don't know. I
Heard
get
you
really
need
excited.
help.
I don't know why I got excited.
But then that's when it cuts.
Jessica.
Post-credit scene is basically Frank talking up the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. I would love that. Daredevil's going to be in Spider-Man.
After
by
the
way.
Spider-Man trailer, we have to see Punisher and Daredevil together before that.
Oh, just imagine like the fun that we're going to
Like they know each other.
with Daredevil, Frank,
If
and
Punisher's
Peter
running
talking.
Spider-Man over, knowing he's
Go
fine.
home, Frank.
He knows Frank. They know each other.
I think Daredevil's in this movie, but
I do too. I 100% do. Especially
Um,
after that interview that poor Charlie Cox had to defend
he's like,
himself
I would
against
tell
Jimmy
you that
Kimmel.
I'm not in it.
He's
but
like, Andrew
if I'm
Garfield
not
said
in
the same thing.
Yeah. Then there's, anyways, not to get crazy, but Punisher talks the cop, takes the keys, breaks out, and that's where we leave Frank, and that's going to go right into his show, which is 60 minutes, not the weird CBS show, but 60 minutes of Frank Castle being a badass coming out this summer, which also then ties into Brand New Day. And that's where we leave the MCU and everybody at this point in time. Yeah, do we get 2 episodes of Daredevil releasing? I think it's only 1 episode, which fine if you must. But that's kind of our Daredevil Born Again season 1 recap. I can't wait. This show just exceeds my expectations. We have not gotten to see any of it yet. People have been raving about it, and I'm just ready. I'm just so ready. I've been waiting a year. They're already starting to film season 3. I never want this to end. If everything in the MCU ended but Daredevil, I will be fine. I want Devil's Reign. I want Luke Cage. I want everything. Just do it.
I mean, if they don't bring Iron Fist in, I'm okay with that.
Fair.
If they bring Iron Fist, I hope they bring Ward back, because Ward got funny towards the end, and then I really liked him in that.
I honestly
Task show on HBO.
Did not.
He was so good in that
watch
show.
Iron Fist season 2, even though I heard it was good.
It was better than the first.
That's not saying a lot. That's a low bar.
But I got
I'm not
by
here.
the end, it was Iron Fist and Ward like had gone out on their own kind of thing.
Just two dudes being bros.
And all I remember is them being in like a bar, and Ward like went from like a snooty rich kid to a funny smartass. Again, I haven't watched it in a long time, because even when we recapped everything last year, I don't think
I don't. Yeah, no. So that's where we leave off. Let us know your predictions for season 2 of Born Again. Go check out our content from MegaCon. We're gonna be rolling it out through Nerd Initiative and our own socials and everything this week. Hops Geek News is where you can find us. Of course, if you're here, stick around, subscribe. And like I said, Nerd Initiatives, we're going to see a lot of the articles and things like that, our reviews. We're going to be doing post shows for Born Again season 2. So stick around for that. And everybody out there, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We recorded in person, and we will just the two of us.
Just two of us.
Peace out.